Welcome to Kit Catastrophe. My name is Kit, and today we'll be taking a look at Transformers Siege Deluxe Class Red Alert. This figure came out in 2019 as part of Wave 3 of the Deluxe assortment, and is a redeco and retool of Siege Sideswipe. Much like his Generation 1 counterpart, Siege Red Alert transforms into a white and red emergency sports car. I'm guessing that it didn't matter on Cybertron because, you know, he's a robot and all that and could put out fires in robot mode, so I'll give that little logic hole a pass. He looks alright, though the sides are a bit jagged and sloppy. The black seems to be thrown in haphazardly due to the presence of the black shoulder joints. I could see they were trying to frame the black in between the red and the white, but those joints just ruin the effect. On the hood, he has a big ol' stripe in the same matte red paint that coated Sideswipe, with his signature Autobot Fire Department shield and the letters F and D flanking it in that stupid, ill-conceived Cybertronian script. Did I mention I hate the aesthetic of Cybertronian writing? Red Alert features the same Stygian black windscreen, though he comes with a new added light bar piece. Surprisingly, it's an entirely new sculpt from the one that came with Prowl, which I just don't understand. It even did the whole paint the red on the bottom thing that Prowl's did. Why is this new tooling? I'm not complaining, I'm just confused. Transformation is unsurprisingly unchanged from Sideswipes, though the tolerances have noticeably changed. Going back into vehicle mode, the hinges on Red Alert's ankles are unnervingly tight, causing a great deal of cringe and worry every time I try to snap them into place. And yes, it does feel like snapping. Just be careful. Other than that, there are no major issues, and the rest of the conversion scheme is the same simple fun that Sideswipes was. Robot mode, much like the rest of this figure, is a been there, done that affair, just with its own little Red Alert flair. He's got the same wide and baggy proportions as Sideswipe, though while Sideswipe was casual, Red Alert just feels a little classier. The chest plate reminds me of a doctor's coat draped over a red cardigan or something. The black panels that cover Red Alert's shins are a lot glossier than I remember Sideswipe's being, which is strange. As for new tooling in this mode, Red Alert has a new head sculpt based on his appearance in the Generation 1 cartoon, which is surprising given the otherwise toy centrism of Western generations lately. I'm not saying I prefer it to the original head sculpt, but it is a nice touch to differentiate the two. Now, you'd think given Siege's propensity for effect parts that Red Alert would come with some sparks to fit onto the ears. But no. Red Alert's sole weapon is an unnamed blaster cast entirely in black plastic, which looks serviceable. Of course, Siege can't leave well enough alone, so if you combine the light bar, you get a melee weapon called the RT-10 Particle Beam Circuit Welder. It's a hammer, guys. I don't see how this could possibly be a circuit welder, or a welder of any kind. Call it the Paranoid Pummeler or something. Now, considering that Red Alert is mostly a straight repaint of Sideswipe, his posability is the exact same as Sideswipe. But it's been a while since I've covered Sideswipe, and I haven't covered Sideswipe's articulation in this format, so it'll feel new! Yay! He has a ball-jointed head that has a good range, though most of the time his face is going to be blocked by something, be it these shoulder pads, things that just cover up his face, or maybe his mouth gets covered by his giant, broad car chest. It's serviceable. He can look up a fair degree and ponder the mysteries of life, the universe, and everything, or he can look down, stewing in his own paranoia and self-doubt, much like the rest of us. At the shoulders, he has a swivel that goes all the way around in the forward and backward range, and it goes all the way out, so he can, say it with me, T-pose! He has a bicep swivel that goes all the way around. His joints are all pretty tight. The elbow goes 90 degrees for transformation, which is A-okay in my book, and his wrist can do that, which, could help with something. I don't know anything. I don't know your preferences. He has a waist swivel that goes all the way around for transformation. Swivel at his hip that goes forward and backwards. And a nice hinge that allows them to go outwards all the way. So he can, say it with me, scrape his taint all over the floor to mark his territory and assert his dominance over the other Autobots on the Ark. He has a thigh swivel that doesn't go very far. It goes around a 45-degree angle, but that's enough for pretty much everything I intend to do with this figure on a sultry Friday night. His legs go 90 degrees, or just about 90 degrees, which is a-okay in my book, and the rear taillight section actually sucks into his shin for added degrees of movement, which is pretty cool. Otherwise, they'd just limit his articulation in the knee. So this was a very good design choice. I don't know if I mentioned this in my Sideswipe review, but I'm mentioning it now. Finally, at the feet, they can tap just a little bit. They can tap. There's a little hinge there, a friction hinge there that lets him tap. But the main event is a very deep ankle pivot. He can just turn himself into a sideways H, or the letter I. A very squat letter I. And that's your lot, I guess. Red Alert is pretty posable. He's not very dynamic, but he has a very good number of joints, and he has very serviceable range in all of those joints. So he's not a disappointment, but he's nothing to write home about, is what I'm trying to say. I may sound like I don't like this figure, but that's mostly because Red Alert is just a simple retool and repaint, which means it's hard to write an interesting or glowing review when everything I like about this figure can be summed up by just showing you pictures and comparing him to Sideswipe. I'm reviewing the Siege Rainmaker soon, so I have no idea how that'll go. Maybe I'll write one of them in Spanish. But I digress. Red Alert is a very worthy redeco, breathing new life into a mold I found somewhat unmemorable upon its first iteration. I honestly prefer this version, mostly due to just a change of color. This has been Katastrophe. If you like this video, please share and subscribe. Transform and roll out.